Let's talk about how to land a 100K raise at your next annual review. I need to tell you this. I need to take you back to my very first annual review. I walked into it nervous as heck. My colleagues had filled my head with horror stories. They said, the boss is just going to dump on you for a straight hour. You're going to leave with all these extra projects. You're going to be told you're definitely not working hard enough and you need to do more. And to add that, my chair really agreed with it. She's like, these annual reviews, this is just my chance to turn your screws. I am literally my job is to make you feel bad and to tell you you need to work harder. This is just how interviews work. Yikes. And it was a fact for her. I'm sure that's how her bosses taught her. I'm sure that's how my colleagues, they were just looking out for me. That was their experience. And I had come in with a list. I wanted to ask for three things about the schedule. I had done a really good year, I thought. I think my chair would agree, but I never had the chance to even bring it up. The moment I sat down, she started talking and she didn't stop for a whole hour. It was unbelievable. I was just like, surely she's going to stop talking before 60 minutes. Surely she's going to ask me what I think or what I'm here for. Nope, nope, and nope. It was 60 minutes about her vacation home, about how hard her job is, about all the things she's stressed out about how she has got to start working less. It was wild. Nothing about my performance, my promotion timeline, nothing I cared about, nothing about my gaps or strengths or schedule or what she could do to help me or none of it. I left feeling terrible. I was like, what the heck was that? That was not an in review. That was like her using me as a therapy session to talk about how terrible her job was. And I think there was some psychology there. I think she wanted me to feel bad so I wouldn't ask her anything. I never got a chance to speak. Never again. I learned from her. And in this episode, I'm going to teach you everything I wish someone had told me. I'm going to teach you how to use trauma informed coaching skills to run your annual review. Even if you're the most junior person, even if you were a fellow 2 days ago, even if your chair is super famous and 30 years older than you, I'm going to show you how to run your annual review with trauma informed coaching skills. Because when you can coach your boss, you can get a 100K raise at these meetings. These annual reviews, if you run them with trauma informed physician coaching skills to coach your boss, to coach yourself, this 1 hour a year can advance your career by 3 to 5 years ahead of schedule. Early promotion, more money, better schedule. Even if your boss is an overtalker, even if your boss doesn't care one lick about what you have to say, right? Even if the culture is you're never supposed to ask for anything ever, it really doesn't matter. You're going to know exactly how to do it. Are you ready? Let's get into it. Let's start with the psychology behind the annual review. Here's what's actually happening on the other side of the table. So, for my leader that I just described, she didn't want me to say anything because she knew if I said something, she would feel compelled that she'd have more work to do. She'd have to make some asks. She would have to figure something out. And she did not want to do any more. So she didn't let me talk for the whole hour. So that was the psychology behind it. Is that they just want to consume all the oxygen in the room so you never get a chance to talk. Because if you don't talk, they don't have more work to do. And then they're like, okay, see you next. I'll see you next year. Literally, what happened? Okay. And then there's another psychology you want to be aware of. Sometimes it's not quite that. Sometimes there's just an institutional tradition that this hour is meant for your chair to yell at you. And they're just not used to anybody saying anything. But I want you to know, regardless of the situation, or they could just like not care, or they could just like not have known, or they could just be like a little bit clueless how to interact with people, right? Like the same people who are awkward at your annual faculty holiday party, that same awkward person who has terrible small conversation skills is the one running this meeting. Of course, it's going to be awkward if they're running it. That's why you want to be running this meeting. I'm going to tell you how here. And I want to say it doesn't matter for whatever reason. I like to start with the psychology just so you kind of understand what's happening so you don't blame yourself. You're like, oh no, this is just what's happening. Humans are being humans. Not a problem. I don't have to get mad or upset. I don't have to feel violated or wounded. Humans are being humans today. And I can lead this meeting anyhow, in any which way, whatever the psychology of my chair, I can run this meeting anyhow. Okay, so let's talk about running it. The first thing that will get in the way for you is the med student mentality, that med student mindset. Listen, we all went to med school. We were trained for these 360 evaluations, that everyone's watching us, everyone needs to be happy. We're constantly having to prove ourselves and please people, constantly waiting to ask permission. Can I go to the bathroom, please? Right? Can I get a drink of water, please? We're not even control of our bodily functions in med school. Like we don't get to go to the bathroom when we want to. It's like when you're allowed to. It is ridiculous. So anyhow, when we're med students, we adopt this mentality. We're not even in control of our body functions. I need to get permission, and then we bring it into us as we become faculty, and it really damages our career because it's just totally unsustainable. So just be aware of the med student mentality. A med student will walk into this thinking, being very much like, tell me what I need to do. I'm so sorry. And I can't believe I did it. I was performed badly this year. That's the med student mentality. And we love the med student in us. The med student us God is here. So this is not shaming our med student mentality, but just be aware of it. Don't let that med student younger you run this meeting because she will just be quiet and not ask for anything. She doesn't know how, poor thing, right? Poor thing. She's been through too much. So the big part of running these meetings is to realize you're not a med student anymore. Now you are a physician. And you see people around you are getting raises and better schedules and not on call as much. Their authority and position is growing, their title is expanding. It's possible for you too, if you know how to ask for it, if you know how to run your annual review. So, what can help is what the actual meeting is about. This in review is not a one-sided evaluation of how you need to work more and generate more RVUs. Really, it's not. I don't care what your friends are telling you. It's not true. They're not career coaches. They don't know. They don't know. And we don't want your friends to be right about this, right? Or you're going to be stuck making this much money, working this much, like working harder than you should, and really dreading these meetings, not sleeping the night before. We don't want to believe your friends. And your friends, I promise you, they don't want to believe themselves either. So you can tell them, listen to this podcast. What an annual review really is that it's a time where two professionals who have so much in common, who really care about the university, they're going to look at the department's needs, the university's mission, the hospital's goals, and your performance and how you've done and how to help you be even more successful the next year. Your chair is going to bring insights and ideas. That's their job. You're supposed to bring insights and ideas too. You're expected to propose solutions and ideas to identify gaps and bring the solution. You're allowed to talk. You're allowed to help expand the role because if your role expands, your chair's job gets easier. You become a helper for her. Part of this, though, is you don't want to just point out problems. You don't want to just say, and this is a problem, and this person's mean to me, and this schedule sucks. You don't want to be doing that because that'll have you labeled as the difficult person in the group, the complainer. You don't want to get labeled. Once you're labeled, that is very hard to make this job work. You want to be bringing in specific areas of improvement with a solution where everyone wins. So where I hear some women physicians go wrong here is they're like, this schedule stinks. My director's unfair. What I really need is a day off a week. No one is going to say yes to that. But if you revise it to something more strategic, which is, I noticed that we need to hire a medical director in the next 90 days for the lab to function. I was a medical director in my previous job. I saved the university $2.5 million in one calendar year. I am happy to bring that in, to bring that leadership quality here and that strategic thinking here. In order for this to work, I would need to go down on my service by one day a week. Do you hear the difference there? It is night and day. This is the work we do in Next Level Freedom as we script this out for you. The point is you should be leaving your annual meeting feeling even more supported by your chair with a very clear direction of what's coming. Our philosophy in Next Level Freedom is every year you should be paid more and working less. That's not happening. There's something that's going wrong and you definitely have influence over this. All right, so let's look at this. So how do you create time for your ask if your chair does not want to hear what you have to say? Like the example I gave you at the beginning. Step one is before the meeting, 48 hours out, you want to send a short email. Really looking forward to our meeting. Thank you so much for making time for me. I'm really excited to hear about what you have, your advice for me and the evaluation. I did have a few ideas that I wanted to share about how we can make next year even stronger. What you're doing is you're signaling to your boss how grateful you are and that you have something to say. You planted the seeds before you walk in. Once you're in the room, what I want you to do is bring a printout of your asks, 1 to 3 asks. Doesn't even matter what's on there, chicken scratch or written, because no one's going to look at it. It's just a tangible prop or tool to remind you and chair you have something to say. So as you're getting settled, you can say, thank you for meeting with me. I just brought a few ideas. You can, if those of you who are watching this on YouTube, you can see my video. Just had a couple of ideas that I wanted to bring up before we close. Definitely want to hear you first. And then you're going to flip the paper upside down so nobody can read it. It stays, and you can leave it on the table as a physical reminder that you do have something you want to discuss, that you have come prepared, and you have something very thoughtful here. It's very hard to forget a prop that's in the middle of the table. Not impossible. It's hard. So here's how to not be forgotten is watch the clock. So the chair generally, they have the clock right behind your head. They're knowing how long they have with you. And the moment it's up, you're out. Like they push a button and you just like drop through the doors. Have you seen that cartoon? Like they're going to watch the clock very closely. You should too. So in a subtle way, you don't want to be checking your watch like you're bored, but you want to have an idea of where you are in that hour. So what you can do is you can even set a timer to vibrate on your phone. So you can just, it will go off 15 minutes before the end of the meeting. Just give you a little reminder. This is the time to make your ask. You want to position it about 15 minutes before the session ends. You want to pick up your prop, pick up your paper. I did want to make sure we got to this. I just had a few things I was hoping to get your input on. Would now be a good time. You want to be able to insert that. If you don't, if you wait to the last 10 minutes, you're likely not to get a chance to talk because they'll just fill it up with something else. Use your window. If for some reason you run out of time, it's your first job, you didn't get a chance, you got very nervous, there was a fire, a fire alarm went off and you had to evacuate. Your chair had to leave emergently. Listen, this happens in a hospital. This for sure can happen. Don't worry, nothing's gone wrong. What you'll do is you'll just send a follow-up email requesting a follow-up meeting. Simple as that. Do not put your ass in the follow-up email. I have so many people, they get very nervous. So they never get a chance to ask at the meeting. And they say, okay, let me just send them an email with my ass. Do not do that. An email is very easy to say no to. Don't make it easy for your chair to say no. Schedule a follow-up appointment between 30 and 90 days, depending on the urgency. It might sound something like this. I think if you're meeting with me, I really appreciate what we talked about on these shared initiatives. I also had a couple ideas we didn't get a chance to talk to. Could I schedule a follow-up meeting in 30 days? I'll bring updates for the initiative, show you how it's going, get your input, and then also share some of my ideas. 30 to 90 days is a frame. So if it's something like very, very urgent to you, you probably want to do it in 30 days. And if it's something more like I want to get more metrics, go up to 90 days. But that's a really reasonable time frame. Know that your chair is probably looking after 100 to 500 employees and their calendar is crazy. So if you ask now, getting a meeting in 30 days, that's a good amount of time to be able to get on their calendar. If you wait to 30 days, you're probably gonna have to wait another 30 days. You as soon as you have the idea, you want to be on their calendar. How to walk in. Do not walk in hot. Do not come in hot with the demands. I've got this and I want you to know that. Let your chair speak first. That's traditionally how these meetings go. Listen and acknowledge them. You want to hear them because what they say you can use to your advantage. You want to hear them first. The person who speaks last has the advantage. Let them talk first. It puts them at a disadvantage. Great for all of us, right? You want to hear what's important to them and then tie that to your ask. So I'll give you an example here. This is what we do on our weekly group calls in Excel of Freedom. So let's say you wanted to ask for professional coaching paid for. And your chair says, I really enjoy having you here. We're very pleased with you, but you really could be getting along with your colleagues better. I'm noticing some friction between you and your division director. We won't be able to promote you if you can't get along with this person. So you put the tie together, and here's what it would sound like. That is great feedback. And I want that too. I am deeply committed to getting along with the division director. I want to bring harmony and teamwork to this group. I agree. What would really help me is if I could take Christina Arnold has a professional leadership and develop professional development and leadership program, coaching program that's designed just for this to eliminate conflict in the workplace. To be able to support me as we pay for this lifetime group coaching program. Right? Do you hear that? Yes, that's what you want to do. You want to be asking in a very sophisticated way. Okay. So what to bring? How many asks is too many? One is your minimum. Two is okay. Three is the maximum. Don't go over three. It feels like a laundry list. You're more likely to have no on all of them. Every proposal needs to connect to the department's mission. You need to show how your ask improves efficiency, generates revenue, benefits the team, helps the institution win, advances the leadership goals of your chair. You have to do this work. It is very lazy to be like, I want this, and to have your chair like say, okay, fine. You have to do this work. This is, and to me, the idea of finding this data to get $1 million, that seems like a really good process, right? Worth my time. And with AI these days, it's not a lot of work talking to AI. AI, here's my chair. Here's all that she cares about. Here's what I want. Put this together, right? Or work with a coach, something we're really good about in Excel Freedom. When your proposal solves a real problem, your chair becomes a partner in making it happen. And that's when things move fast. As soon as you can align your goals with your chair goals, but you do have to show them how it's aligned. So how you ask matters. I'm just going to reference, listen to if you're not in the program, listen to our six figure raise training. It's free. It's on the podcast, and it outlines the 5 pieces you need to make an ask. And it's their $1 million need, how you're going to do it, what you need, silence and get it in writing. Be very specific in these meetings. Don't ask for big, vague dreams. I need to be supported. I need to be recognized. No, 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 none of that. You want to ask for something specific. And here are some examples. $50,000 raise to submit for promotion this year, 1 day off clinic a week in exchange for picking up the med student lecture, a better admin, an office closer to the main office, to the department, where you want to think about something very, very specific and link it to why it's in the department's best interest to do this. Next is make every ask count towards your goal. So focus your ask to your goal. What is your asks? What is your one singular goal? If your goal is promotion, you want to be asking for things that get you closer to promotion. When you propose like mentoring the med students, you're not just helping the department, you're building your leadership dossier that will help you get promoted. When you're proposing to head a new program in the department, you're not just building a program, you're checking a box on your promotion criteria while solving real institutional problems. All of that is like triple, quadruple dipping. You're not just doing one thing that's great, you're doing like 4 things that's great at once. This is how you get promoted early, how you get recognized, how you get valued, how you get prioritized is by leading with these types of trauma-informed coaching skills as a leadership tool, not by working more, not by agreeing to everything your chair says, by staying singularly focused on your goal and how every yes you say is going to get you closer to it. Now, use the example of promotion, but your goal might be to part-time hours. Your goal might be your pay. Your goal might be your bonus. You repeat what I just told you for those. And of course, we work on that in the program. All right. So what do they do? What to do when your chair pushes back? They ask you a question. You're kind of offended. Like, what? This wasn't an easy yes. Of course they're going to push back, girl. This is $1 million, right? They're going to push back. It's not a problem. Expect it. What the med student mentality would be like, oh my God, I can't believe I asked this. I'm so greedy. I regret even asking. Oh my gosh, I take it all back. Iconic physicians, this is what we say. This is good that they're asking. It means they're listening to me. We're moving this forward. They're going to reveal to me what they're worried about so that I can answer it. Questions are good. It means that we're considering it. Your job is to stay calm, curious, bring in your trauma-informed coaching skills here. And this is what it would sound like if your chair told you no, or they asked you a question. Tell me could I ask you about your concerns about this ask? What would make this possible? What could I do to move this forward? If they say, we're going to need time, I would expect they're going to need time. Chairs are not like they're really not the decision maker. They have a group of board of directors, they have a group of vice chairs, they have a boss to answer to. They often cannot say yes on the spot, really. So they are going to need time. It's not a problem. So I would expect they're going to need time. What you can say is if you have your trauma informed coaching skills as leadership skills, makes total sense at you time. I really appreciate you that you're taking the time. I would love to revisit this and check in with you. Can I make a follow-up appointment in 30 days? Right? If they say no outright, which chairs could say no outright, put on your trauma informed physician coaching skills, your leadership skills. If you're not offended, you're going to be able to lead this session. What it would sound like is, can you help me understand your concerns? Is there any version of this where we might just be able to move it forward one small step? Where we're getting here is a no is not a stop sign. It's not a no forever. It's just like there's something in the way. If you can be curious and be a coach in these sessions, you can ask questions that show you what's in the way, and then you can solve for it. Keep the door open. Next is document everything. So if they agree verbally, nothing happens. I have so many physician women who are like, oh my gosh, this always happens. She always says yes, and then she never follows through. This is not a problem. This is what happens in leadership. You are the one who's supposed to create the follow up. You want it in writing. You are the one who's supposed to get it in writing. There's so many physicians I meet who are like, oh my gosh, I asked her to put it in writing and she wouldn't. Because you're maybe because you don't have a great chair. Also, could be because she's looking after 500 people. Listen, I'm not on her side. I'm on your side. But if you want it in writing, put it in writing. Send a follow up email summarizing. Right? We want to find areas where your brain is kind of becoming a med student and wanting your chair to do all these things, which puts you in a very disadvantaged spot. We want to flip that because you deserve a better job. We don't want to wait for a loosey goosey chair. We want to chase that down. We want to get it in writing, right? Issue the follow up email. You every time your brain focuses on how they're a terrible leader and they never leave, they never listen to you, and this job will never get better. Just check in. How does that feel? Can have you really shut down. You're likely to say something that you regret or not to say anything at all and not move this job forward. Don't focus on them. Focus on you deserve better. How can you do something new to get better? So I always suggest that same day before you go home, write a summary email. You dictate into AI, it can write it for you. Confirm the next steps. We'll be doing a follow-up meeting in 30 days. Make it very clear. Okay. Also, I want to say, a lot of times I think people get exercised by getting in writing because they think if it's written down, it happens. That's not true at all. Not true. Once it was written down, it's still up to you to make sure the follow through happens. Not to like add more to your plate, but the idea being this is important. If $100,000 a year raise every year of your life is important to you, it makes sense that you might have to send 3 emails. It's worth it. Like, please, if anyone is in charge of this race, please let it be me and not, right? And not a moody boss who changes her mood with the weather and barometric pressure. Let it be me in charge of it. To me, feels super empowering. So I hope you are hearing it from that lens. What you want is important. Okay, protect your time. You're going to hear a lot. This is going to help you with promotion and tenure. If you say yes to every single task, you'll actually never get promoted because you will be very busy doing all this busy work that doesn't really count. So you really do want to know what is a promotion and tenure requirement and factor that into your decision. If this thing sounds exciting and it helps you get promoted, amazing. Say yes to it and look for a task you can release. Our philosophy, Next Level Freedom, is every year your job should get easier. You should be paid more for fewer hours. And that doesn't happen by accident. It happens with these exact conversations. Every time you say yes, you release something. Your job just gets better and easier and you're paid more. How you communicate this matters. Let me give you an example. I would love to take over the med student lectures. I definitely can do this. To make this work, can we discuss dropping to 0.2 FTE coverage? So I have time to make the meetings. There's going to be a lot of conversations at the med school, curriculum builds and delivery, and I want to make sure I do an excellent job. Isn't that amazing? So good. Write it down, use it. Okay, let's say you're saying no to something. This is a fantastic opportunity. I really appreciate being considered. I will have to say, based on how this year went, I notice you want me to close my charts faster. I think adding on more responsibilities right now would actually exacerbate the problem. Here's what I'd love to do. I would like to focus on honoring my existing commitments, seeing them all through. I don't want to disappoint you. Let me focus on getting my charts closed faster, and then I'd be open to revisiting this. What would help me is having my professional coaching paid for. Do you see how it all comes around? If you are out of med student mentality, you can get everything you want from this annual review. You can advance your career by 5 years. All right. So, what do you do if your department does not have an annual review? This is no problem. Create it. These meetings are made up. So, just request a meeting with your chair. I suggest every 6 months and frame it as a strategic check in. It would sound like this. I want to make sure that I am in line with your version of like what you want me to do. I want to make sure I'm doing a great job here. I want to make sure our relate that you're proud of the work I'm doing. Can we arrange a 6 month check-in so I can get some feedback? We can kind of regroup and make sure that I'm on the right track. Right? Is that amazing? It is. It's so good. Okay, so other thoughts about 12-month annual review. I think even if your organization has or doesn't have them, 12 months is way too long to be between your chair. It is a very expensive mistake I see physicians do. 12 months is enough time to completely drift off track for promotion and not even know it. 12 months is enough time for your chair to go from loving you to hating you because you haven't communicated with each other about what their expectations are. 12 months is a time for you to miss a huge raise, a schedule improvement, committee appointment that would have mattered. The department finds a bunch of funds. This happens all the time. And they don't give it to you because she hasn't seen you. She forgot about you. So my suggestion is every 6 months, you should be sitting across from your chair. Coffee, an office, a formal meeting. And every single one of those, the goal should be leading with a stronger relationship and a better job. You should be asking for 1 to 3 things. Resources in medicine are limited. They don't go to the most deserving. They go to the people who are asking, showing up, and building a really good relationship with the person making the decision. Do not wait to be invited. That's what a med student will do. Create the meeting yourself. I want to say, could you please forward this podcast to everybody you know? And would you please, for the love of sweet baby Jesus, rate and review this podcast? Show me what you like. And also, we only have 18 reviews and we have 5 years of reporting. So I do need to fix this. Okay, let's do some fast action sprints, things to do before your next review. Prepare a 1 minute highlight reel. Open with your biggest wins. Be concise. Make your chair want to help you. Next, know the department's biggest problems. Spend some time thinking about this. Walk in with awareness, crystal clear awareness of what leadership is stressed about and how you can fill the gap. Of course, you're not going to fill the gap on things you don't want, but some of the things you may be able to be in a position to solve and get paid for it. Next, research what your peer institutions are doing. This can be really fun. Ask your friends across the country, what are they excited about? What's new? You can bring some ideas to this meeting, get your chair excited about initiatives that might be beyond their walls for right now. Review your promotion criteria. You want to map out every request as getting you closer to your promotion if that's your goal. Practice your proposal out loud. Do it on Zoom. It's a free Zoom account. Record yourself. Practice having strong eye contact. Review it. Listen, you want to see what weird things you're doing with your face before you go up to your chair and ask them for $1,000,000, right? I say that because I've recorded myself and found myself doing very weird things with my face. Oh, it's like, oh, I had no idea I did that. Wow. Let's fix that, right? And the more you record it, once you get a version of it that you love, take the audio and listen to it on loop. You want it to feel like you're saying the alphabet because the more ease you have about asking for it, the more likely your boss will say yes right away. If you're not sure you should have it, your chair will sense that and say no. Next, bring an idea that improves revenue or efficiencies. Departments always respond to proposals that have the bottom line. Next, track your invitations, innovations, and recognition. Do not rely on your memory. Don't do it. Don't do it. Track it as you go. Next, your ask could be releasing a role that doesn't work for you anymore. Low impact work, even if you kind of like it, it blocks high impact opportunity. There is an opportunity cost. You only have so many hours a day. If you're doing activities that are busy work that you like, that don't help you get promoted, we need to look at releasing some of them. You can practice this on Zoom too. Of course, keep your CV updated regularly. With AI, this really does not take long. Next, know exactly what promotion perks you're looking towards: money, schedule, office influence. Very specific so you know what to ask for. Next is schedule a follow before you even go home that night. Lock in the next conversation, send an email with a summary. Don't let the momentum die. Journal prompts. Prompt one: if your next year review could advance your career by 5 years, what would be different? Get really specific. What would it look like? Title, salary, schedule. What's your life? How would your life be different? Help that frame your ask at the annual review. Prompt two: what are the major problems in your department? Retention, conflict, mistakes, revenue. Do a deep dive. Maybe lost five faculty just left. Or maybe there's digital pathologies coming in or epics coming in. Like, identify what those problems are. Prompt three: which of these problems might you be kind of excited to solve, or you might be uniquely positioned to solve? Focus on the ones that excite you, of course. Never negotiate for something you don't want. Create an innovative idea that excites you, addresses their needs, and tie that to salary and FTE. Prompt four: what leadership role could you invent that currently doesn't exist? Where is the gap no one's filling? You can just make up a title and tie it to salary and FTE. I do this with my clients all the time. They're like, but someone's already the leader of innovation in tech. I'm like, okay, we'll just make up a new title. All these titles are made up. But if a title is linked to money and salary and FTE, time off, let's use that to your advantage. Prompt five: which current responsibilities are draining you and not moving your career forward? Let's look at releasing at least one of those this year. In summary, your annual review is not a one-way evaluation. It's the most underused career acceleration tool you have access to all year long. Women physicians who walk in as a strategic partner, who take in trauma-informed coaching skills as leadership skills, who have proposals that solve real departmental problems and can connect all their asks to a way for the department to win, for you to get further ahead in your promotion. Women who do this get paid faster, have better schedules, better offices. They have influence that compounds over time. This one meeting a year, handled correctly, can move your career forward 5 years. And it just starts with deciding you're not going to be a med student and wait to be evaluated. You're going to be an iconic physician with trauma-informed physician coaching skills, and you're going to lead this meeting. You're ready to leverage your interview to leap your career ahead 5 years. Make sure you're inside of Next Level Freedom. We help women physicians get promoted early. Book your sales call today. Join us this week. Links in the show notes. And then I want to leave you with a please share this podcast with anyone you can and rate and review it. See you next time. Bye.